yesterday.
We can recap what happened last session, and then Piper's gonna have to tell us what the fuck happened in her Dexterpy.
Yes, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
So everybody woke up in the morning after the bullshit at the theater and had fun, spicy letters that had been left of various types. And we could surmise that Easemarks and Mezes were from the same person. They had the same handwriting, I think.
Eastmarks and Mezes had very similar handwriting, yes.
Similar, but not the same.
Yeah, because so Easemarks had what, we're watching you, or I'm watching you.
I'm watching, written on crisp white paper, no other indicators. I screenshotted all of the notes and put them all in the one note.
Thank you. And it also had a single like little eyeball. No, it had the letter I. Did it have
It was fucking cursed.
Yeah.
And it had
And that was just...
it had some magic shit in it that Sola figured out but has not been able to share because things that happened towards the end of the session. Mez's was something about the we're coming back for the brand or some shit. That the brand that was put on her face by demons?
Devils. Citation needed.
Sola's was telling her to keep her nose out of things where she's not wanted, or else, pretty much, but it was left outside in the rain, so she didn't know, like, we couldn't analyze the handwriting or anything very well. And then Shaydris had a fucking novel of a letter by somebody named the Thief.
And it basically amounted to like, hey, don't you want to just go fucking nuts? Don't you want to just lose it? You should.
Don't you want to fucking hate the townspeople? And she's like, you have a point, but that sounds bad.
And Easemarks was in his mailbox. Sola's was under her mat. Mez was just dropped randomly on the front counter. And Shay's was in her cabin when she got back that night. The cabin that she is, that very few people know how to get to, let alone get inside.
Just chilling on her bed, just sitting there. And then the fucking children's book of stories opened up to a specific story. What the fuck is this shit?
So, everybody found out that they had letters and slowly grouped and went to Shay's cabin, much to her displeasure. And proceeded to then have Easemark decide to grill the fuck out of Shay because Shay mentions that, oh yeah, there is one other person that has like a key to my cabin or knows where it is, and it's, I forget the name, and it was not revealed in character, but I'm pretty sure it's some fucking ex-lover or some shit with how defensive she got.
Her name's Grisilis.
Gristle.
Grisilis. Yeah.
Grisilis.
Gris for short.
Yes.
Gris for short. That's what it was I was remembering.
And then Shalelu popped up, who just walked right in, wasn't expecting people in Shay's cabin, because why would she?
Literally, why?
And essentially left off with the, I got some shit to tell y'all. And then we cut off. Okay, Piper, what'd you do?
Yeah. Meanwhile,
Piper went to go visit her brother, and he gave her a package to give to Shaydris.
Suspicious.
I was about to say, you have a brother? I was like, no, it's pseudo. I'm dumb.
He's my brother.
Yeah, he's a pseudo brother.
Ha!
Because they're adopted.
And that was all? Nothing else interesting?
I'm struggling with the fucking OneNote here because
He's
Now I'm just bitching because I don't have my OneNote app because it doesn't have the app. So I have to do it through the fucking link opening up in a browser, which sucks.
these are the true trials of marriage here.
You're at his computer. Can't you download the app yourself?
I could download the app myself, actually.
See?
Smiley face.
Smiley face. OneNote app. Would you already have it? Nope. There's an error.
The fuck?
Hmm?
I'd have to reinstall it. I'm not about that right now.
That's fair.
Well, that's just a thought for future then.
Mhm.
When you have time or when you sit down before or have extra time after a session, just fucking re-download it so that you don't have to deal with the bullshit.
Yep.
All right. So, I imagine the shape of things will start off with Sola, who's going to be breaking apart from the party, from what I understand. We'll go back to the party, and Kokoro will rejoin partway through that conversation, just so everybody is on the same page.
Sounds good.
Right. So, Shalelu is in Shayadress's cabin with the rest of you. It's getting a little cramped in there because this was definitely not meant to house this many people. It wasn't really meant to house people to begin with. It was kind of just meant for Shay and maybe one other guest. So it's getting a little hot. You're kind of all up in each other's business at this point, and Shalelu is rolling out a map on Shayadress's table. She is about to begin a lecture. So, are you going to be Irish goodbying, or would you
Well,
like to?
She would want to hear what Shalelu says.
Okay.
But if it's nothing that intrigues her or seems to kind of lend to her shit mixing with the stuff that is currently going on, then she would dip.
All right. So, Shalelu rolls out a map, and it's a map of Sandpoint, but also the outlying Sandpoint hinterlands, which I will move you guys onto if you're not already there. Let's move you here. And so the map looks an awful lot like this. And Shalelu begins to speak, pointing here and there on the map as she does for emphasis. Baylor told me how the assault against the goblins went. Very well done. I have to say, I've dedicated the last several years of my life to keeping them from causing too much trouble around these parts, but they're tenacious and fecund little runts, like weeds that bite. There are 5 major goblin tribes in the region, and traditionally they're pretty good at keeping each other in line with intertribal squabbles and the like. Yet, from what I've been able to piece together, members of all 5 tribes were involved in the raid on Sandpoint. A fair number of the Mosswood goblins I dealt with yesterday were already pretty beaten up, and there was a lot of chatter about the Longshanks who killed so many of them. I immediately recognized one of them as Shayadress, but now that I've met the rest of you, it seems obvious who they were talking about, and obvious that Shayadress has somehow made friends. Congratulations.
Squint.
Shalelu smiles at her. In any event, the fact that the 5 tribes are working together disturbs me. Goblin tribes don't get along unless they've got something big planned, and big plans require big bosses. I'm afraid that someone's moved in on the goblins and organized them. And judging by these recent raids, what they're organizing seems like bad news for all of us.
Have you been able to figure out why they're organizing? Like, any kind of guesses as to what these raids are for?
No specific ideas. They won't speak with me, you see. They regard me as somewhat of a boogeyman.
Hmm. Okay, so if somebody's coordinating with all these other tribes, is they they're coordinating with all these other tribes, trying to get all these raids to happen to pop off simultaneously or real close succession or whatever, right? Any ideas as to if there's like some kind of base of operations or something?
Well, yes, even creatures as horrible as goblins have their bases of operation. Here. She points to a couple of places on the map as she's pointing these out. We have the lick-toed goblins of the brine stump marsh right over here. They're excellent swimmers. Never let one get out of your sight for very long. They will find a body of water and they will trouble you with it. And otherwise, they will make a body of water, if you understand my meaning. Then we have the bird cruncher goblins all along the caves over here by the Devil's Platter. You may have encountered them. They're quite terrible to traders, though they're really not all that bad so far as goblins go. They can be reasoned with to a small extent, given their small brains. To the east, we have the seven-toothed goblins of the Shankwood. They've been raiding our junkyards for many a year and fashioning terrible little weapons from the remains. I don't like their ingenuity. And all the way to the east here, we have the Mosswood Goblins, the largest tribe of all of them. Then, after that, there are the Thistletop Goblins over here on the Nettlewood coast, atop a small island. Sort of looks like a decapitated head.
Would Sola have remembered another time there like a group of goblins or like a whole bunch of tribes of goblins or something gathered that was might ring alarm bells?
Yeah, I would say so. In your various lives, there's lots of goblins throughout Galarian. Like, certainly the goblin problem, so to speak, is not isolated to Sandpoint.
Mm.
And what Shillelagh was saying does hold true from what you've encountered in your previous lives. Goblins kind of just, they tend to hang out in bunches of like maybe 50 to 60 tops. If you get more goblins than that in one place, they tend to start blood wars and kill each other.
All right, good.
Uh,
Go ahead.
Go on.
You're info dumping. Give me more.
So Thistletop has quite a few goblins. You might not know the extent, but Mosswood, which is over here to the bottom right, is the largest of them, and then Thistletop, which is right over here, is the second largest. But certainly, if you were to hear tell of goblins from different tribes doing anything together, it's usually organizing some sort of goblin fight pit. Like, it's not a raid. A single goblin tribe raids, not a bunch of them. It's unheard of for them to cooperate to that extent.
So she's never heard of them like coalescing under a god or anything like that?
A god, no. You could convince them to coalesce with force. A lot of them are, the sort where you can beat the shit out of them and they will respect you for a little while until they connive a way to kill you. So you've probably seen them being marshaled as part of a greater army because of that. Like, if you have, say, a troll or something, a troll can keep a group of goblins in line, but it requires something with both a higher IQ and fearsomeness to back it up.
Gotcha.
Yes, so we're looking at like some kind of wizard or some kind of magic shit or some kind of, I don't know. What's a commanding type? Like a paladin almost, but a goblin paladin.
Are you asking Shalelu that?
Sort of asking, sort of asking, sort of stating, because like Ismark's idea is, okay, this has to be someone who is both willing to be around a bunch of fucking goblins and also able to command their cumulative respect without losing them in the process.
She nods. Yes, I expect it would be somebody of great talent who is squandering it all on this pursuit, whatever it may be. As for Paladin, I can't imagine one would be tied up in a matter like this. Not very lawful, is it?
It's not lawful, but like a, I don't know, like some kind of schmucky paladin.
Well, speaking of lawful, that's not very lawful terminology, is it, Manling? The swearing and then this schmuck business.
Why do you keep calling me manly?
Why do you keep waltzing into women's homes and pretending that you own them?
What the? That's a gross simplification of like part of my duties as a guard and like a investigator in the city.
Oh, is it? I can listen. I'm very patient.
Well, no, we got goblin shit to worry about.
No, by all means, this clearly takes precedence.
Okay, but
Miss
it don't.
Shalelu, with all due respect, I do believe that focusing on the goblins is the best course of action at the moment. As entertaining as it is to watch Ismark squirm.
Crosses his arms, a little upset, but not too upset.
Shalelu's eyes flick over to Sola, and now Shalelu is old. She's an elf brand elf, not a half elf. She's full blooded, and so she hasn't met many people who can exude the sort of parental energy that will cow her. Not in a great many years. But as old as Shalelu is, Sola is technically older.
Many times older.
And thus, there's a bit of that, like, chided teenager look to her. But she does sigh and fix her face. Yes, well, I suspect that that's the proper course of action, no matter how incorrect someone may be. Well, I came to warn you all of this, and to answer any questions you might have concerning the subject that perhaps my young protege here wouldn't know the answers to yet. She doesn't possess my particular fascination, you understand.
Obsession.
Shalelu looks over to her. Fascination.
Were you informed of everything that happened under the church as well?
Shalelu tilts her head. Under the church? All I heard was that there was some sort of raid. I did hear them talking about dragging something awful and annoying, but truth be told, anything larger than a person is annoying to goblins. Did something happen?
So we'll turn very meaningful look towards Shay.
Shay, who had her little fun of obsession earlier, that like shit eating like energy is is gone, and she's kind of like very like there's like a droop to her tail as she just kind of just like refuses to look Shalelu in the eye. She'll look over her shoulder. As they the words as she kind of just like picks at like one of her fingernails. They took Dad's body and messed with Nualia's grave.
This is clearly the first that Shalelu has heard about this particular wrinkle in this story. Her eyes go wide, and although they're solid black, you can kind of see the pupil within shifting.
And they points to Sola. Messed with the I can't remember names right now. Shit. What's it? Is it Whomst?
Pseudo?
They put No, not Pseudo. It's the statue in the back. Who is that of?
Lamashtu.
The hoe-scaring god.
The Lamashtu was the symbol.
Yeah, the symbol. Pharasma?
Yeah, for.
Okay.
Oh, okay, I see.
Okay.
What is it? Pharasma or is it?
It's Pharasma, yes.
Okay.
It was
Pharasma?
an
Okay.
altar to Pharasma.
Because I see, I was really close. I was thinking Phasma.
Phasmophobia.
I was missing a syllable there.
No, I was also thinking Phasma, and I was like, I don't think that's it.
That's why there's the silence. Yes.
Yeah.
Sola just nods. There was a symbol of Lamashtu carved into Pharasma's statue.
And there was also a hand, if I recall.
It was carved into the statue's hand.
Yeah.
Oh, it was carved in. Okay, my bad.
Mm.
And it was all booby trapped as well. Both with, what was it, some traps that were higher up in the tomb, and one we did not spring luckily, but one that would have summoned undead or skeletons or something.
Yeah, so we're looking at a grave robbery, a booby trapping, I guess, whatever falls under that, and then destruction of church property and defacing a religious artifact with Lamashtu. Like, a lot of stuff happened in that basement.
There is no technical proof that this has connection to this raid of the goblins, because there was no goblins down there as far as we could tell. It is a little too convenient.
Were there, correct me if I'm wrong, Kira, there were goblin tracks down there too, right?
Yes, but not that many.
Yeah. Not that many.
Like there was a far fewer. It was like 2, maybe 3 goblins.
Stealth squad.
Yeah,
Yes.
I thought for some reason that was only human tracks.
Yeah, there was
This
one
is
human-sized track.
Squad.
Yeah, Goblin Strike Squad commanded by whoever the fuck is fucking gathering them.
Scratch what I just said, and Sola just kind of nods. There was other things Chase found that suggest that the goblins and the raid were connected to this. It was not just 100% coincidence. And I assume in your expertise that goblins do not plan things like this very well.
No, they don't. Their brains are about the size of a peanut, and their common sense even more uncommon. This is horrifying. But it isn't the first time we've dealt with similar matters, I'm afraid. I had thought these issues long settled and buried. It was my greatest wish that we would never have to deal with something like this again.
Again?
Have you heard of the murders?
Do you want it happened a few years ago?
Yes, the chopper slayings.
I have heard some tale of them, but I have not asked many details. Were the goblins of the area part of these slayings?
Oh no, they wouldn't go near the man, not even him, not even them, but there is something more troubling about the matter. On the last few corpses that were discovered, there were certain symbols. Among them, the coyote had ascribed to Lamash to. It's dreadful, dreadful news, and thus Baylor made the decision not to spread any more panic or fear. I see now that we may have been dealing with a larger cult than we realized.
If I may ask, Shalelu, how long have you been in this area?
Nearly all my life, with some exceptions. When I was a young elf, I lived over closer to the Blackwatch area, but I've always been among these woods as far back as I can remember, at least within a few days' ride.
What was that light of civilizations or whatever it was in the one-on-one? What was the
Uh,
term?
Sandpoint, the beacon
Well, not the sand,
humanity.
not the lighthouse or whatever.
Mm.
There was something in our one-on-one with Sola that was like in the notebook for
Oh,
me.
yes. It was a talk about the light of humanity was the name of one of the plants involved.
Okay. Is that like, and then correct me if I'm wrong, that's not something that Sola has heard before.
No.
Okay. This may be an odd question and maybe completely off base. You ever heard of the light of humanity or something called that?
Let's fucking see if she has, buddy.
If she's an old ass elf, then she might have the best chance.
Yep. Shalelu thinks to herself, and her brows furrow. She tilts her head the other way, and what Shadris will recognize as a very Shalelu gesture. She starts kind of squeezing her thumb in her fist. Uh, it's not quite to a rhythm, but it's very. It's like she's, fidgeting. The light of civilization. I think I've heard the term once or twice before. Not in quite some time, however. It's a bit of herb lore my mother once spoke to me of, from the very old days. Not something that she had even seen in her lifetime. She was lamenting the death of it. It had gone out of existence somewhere around the time of my great great grandfather.
Sola just nods once or twice. Oh, and have you ever heard of plants that are frosting over or growing from frost on their own?
Certainly not in this area. Is there something invasive about? Because I do have a stockpile of weed killer.
I highly doubt that the weed killer is going to be enough.
It's very effective on goblins.
There's just slight twitch, corner of the mouth of like amusement. She shakes her head.
I could ask around about it. I am due in Kyonin for a bit of a visit with my clanmates. If you'd like, I can report back if they've heard of it or seen any of it.
That would be a great boon. I am concerned that, yeah, to be perfectly honest, I am concerned that the goblins may only be the start of their issues.
Does
What do you
seem
mean? Is there something else you know?
No, might be a strong word for it. I do know that there are plants that are growing that should not grow. There have been plants that have magic that the very touch gives frostbite. It should not exist, at least not here. And plants that are from very far away to very dangerous and are not right that seem to be growing and sprouting at various places. And I do not want to raise too many alarms, but how much do any of you know about my kind, Samsarans?
Not a lot, to be honest.
Get a fucking shrug of like, I don't fucking know. A shrug of jack shit.
Alright. Don't really know myself.
So it just nods. We are not many, so it is uh, not surprising. My kind, we live in some ways almost for eternity. Our souls live through a life, and then when we die or are killed, our souls are reborn with the memories from all previous lives. They are not always clear, sometimes more like watching people walk through fog. But we remember. I was here before. I know that, but I do not remember that lifetime. It is a hole in my memory, the only hole I have. But it is a hole that I don't know any other Samsaran to have. I have begun to have dreams about that lifetime. At least I think it is of me in that lifetime. They make me concerned.
Is there any other way we could fix those holes? Trigger some sort of memory?
Sola just... She's sat back on the couch a little bit more and is like scratching Holly. She kind of looks down to her, and I imagine like they look and they like meet each other's eyes for a moment, and there's almost a silent conversation, even though there is not one. It just seems like that. I have been trying to figure out how to do that for what, 3 years now. I have not had any memories triggered until, well, to be perfectly frank, until the goblin raid.
What is the memory?
It is, well, I remembered, I think it was me. Some Zarin trying to create a plant using plants that are very dangerous. That for anyone that is untrained could very well be deadly. And as they were working on the plant, correct me if I am wrong, Kira, it was Imperials that came
Yes,
in.
it was Thessalonian Imperials.
And while they were working, Thessalonian Imperial soldiers, guards of some sort, broke into her cabin and claimed that what they were working on was illegal, was against the standards or the laws, or I'm not sure what, of the Empire. Part of the plant that was growing, part of the plant that was being bred, was growing on the side of my building when I got back from the raid. It had too many similarities to the growth that we saw in Virginia's garden. It was growing from frost.
They say that dreams are a message from Desna, but I can't imagine why you would need a gruesome message of that sort. Do you remember anything else about this life?
That's what it is all. It was a life lived here during the Thessalonian Empire. That's why I came here to begin with.
And you say it was the same plant you saw on the side of your shop?
At least part of it. I think they were trying to crossbreed plants to create something close to that light of humanity. But part of it that was being bred was firevine?
Yep.
Was a firevine. And it was firevine that was growing on my building. I am not stupid enough to grow firevine, especially not out in public.
I should hope not. The children of Sandpoint are not very smart. She glances to Mesmine and to Shaydress. Present company accepted.
For those of you that do not recognize, the very spores of firevine burn from the inside out if you breathe them in. That is not even considering what it does when you touch it. And it had grown over the course of less than a day to cover the entire side of my shop.
So, has anyone told you what Light of Humanity was used for?
No. I only heard of it in my dream.
Well, the reason that some of my kind long for its return is it's an extremely effective weapon. As you might have surmised from the firevine being part of it, it makes for very good ignition material, but you see, the trouble with Light of Humanity is it can't really be extinguished once it starts, at least not for a century at minimum. It was used as a weapon because of that. You could set fire to one of its extracts and it would burn the whole way through. What would be a minor inconvenience, something that elves could learn to live with, could easily put a stop to a whole village, a town full of humans. We always thought the name was ironic.
There's a... Sola frowns or reacts negatively to things on occasion. But there is a dark look on her face that none of you have ever seen before.
If whoever has set these goblins upon the town is looking to revive the Light of Humanity at all, that would be terrible news. I hope dearly that they're unrelated, but it is suspicious to see Firevine growing here of all. I've never actually seen it in person myself.
It should not grow here. It should only grow in deserts at best. Far too wet here.
So, question, DM.
Answer, player.
The the plants that were growing in Ginny's garden, do those plants mirror Firevine or Light of Humanity at all?
Sola would have recognized if it was Firevine, or Light of Humanity, actually, because she had seen it in her dream.
Gotcha.
I will allow Sola to roll for that. Give me a nature roll or a profession roll.
Hold on, let me look at this thing. I don't remember what my good shit is yet. Knowledge. Versus profession. Okay. See, I'm getting fucked up by the knowledge nature. I was sitting here like, where is nature? I don't see a nature. I know I am looking, like, I know my alphabet. It's under knowledge nature. Okay.
The K is silent. All right. So, Sola, you've grafted and bred a fair few of your own plants over the years, and one of the joys of being a Samsaran is that you can innovate something in botany that you later see in a different life and understand to be a cultivar of something that you created. It's something that speaks to your experience as a Samsaran and also the marks that you upon the world as surely as bumping into a descendant does. And it isn't until Ismark mentions it that you realize that the plants that were in Ginny's garden aren't exactly the Light of Humanity, but they could be related. The shape of the leaves were similar, and something about the characteristics of the bark seems similar. They could be related, but they aren't exactly the same.
As Ismark. Oh wait, did Ismark actually in character say something about the garden, or is that out of character? Am I?
That was out of character, but I would have Ismark mention, like, as he has the thought, like, hey, does that ring familiar at all, like from what was in Ginny's garden? You think?
Solo just kind of tilts her head, and you see the hamster wheel start spinning. It is not the light of humanity in the garden. Certainly not genius. Smart enough to know not to plant anything dangerous. But it could have a relation. Some, for lack of a better term, distant relative. There is enough similarities to say that some of those plants might be the same family of plants.
Okay, similar family. And Ismark, like he generally always has this affect of, not malaise, but like a distracted tiredness where he is like thinking of the next step or trying to, and always kind of stumbling forward. But in this moment, he is rubbing his head, like rubbing his forehead, and there's like a little bit of a nervous sweat starting to form at like the corner of his forehead, and he kind of wipes it with his hand and his knuckles and just goes, "Hey, that cabin you saw in your dream. You said it was all like it got frost crusted and like froze over with the plants and everything. Did I don't know what this means personally, but I had a similar kind of cabin dream thing, you know? And I mean, it wasn't the same. Maybe at least I don't. What are the odds that it's the same, right? But I saw a cabin in a dream that I had recently, but it was I mean it was all in flame. It was burning, you know. And I don't know. It was dark, but everything that you described felt familiar in a weird way.
Do we have anybody that is sketch hobby? No? Nobody here likes drawing?
We need a Tia.
In character?
You need
Where's Tia when you need it?
Where's Tia? Fucking whips out tablet at the ready. I don't think I like making my characters draw just because I can't draw, but I don't think Shay draws.
Mez
would
could
say-
probably do schematics, but I don't think she's like art. No.
I was gonna say, of the people here, Mez is probably your best bet.
Mm-hmm.
Give it a shot.
Well, Solo just kind of like tilts her head, like considering Ismark. That kind of same dark look on her face. Could you draw this cabin or maybe describe it to somebody to draw? Whatever you remember.
I could sure try. I mean, he's got some kind of parchment. He can try to sketch it right now.
I mean,
I'm not gonna hold
this is also
my breath.
Shay's house. There is paper.
Yeah, I
True.
don't mind giving you a hand if you need it.
Your drawing is going to be as good as mine, or well, it might be better. But he's gonna try to bust out a quick sketch of this cabin to kind of get a general representation of it.
Can I use my mentor skill to help here?
Yeah, go for it.
Yay! You get a +1.
Yay! What do I roll?
This could be a very funny time where I ask you to roll.
You cut out.
And I think
You cut out.
You roll
Oh.
what?
Sorry, this could be a very funny instance of me asking someone to roll knowledge engine skill.
Hey!
Knowledge engineering.
I have
So-
knowledge engineering.
You do roll knowledge engineering,
Bro,
motherfucker.
schematics.
Fucking
Let's go. Draw a blueprint.
I gave Ismark every knowledge that wasn't like magically oriented or
Science.
engineering. Yeah, it's like
Engineering
Ismark,
is
Ismark
so
knows.
good.
Sorry.
It's such a
Yeah,
slept
let's
on
fucking
knowledge.
go. Let's
All right.
fucking go.
So, quick question, because I had to step away for a second. What's happening?
What was the last thing you heard?
You guys still talking about Jenny's plants?
The plants might be related, and then Ismark said that he had a dream of a cabin on fire, but the description that Sola gave made him feel like it might be the same cabin.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And
it's
so-
specifically like the elemental tie. It was like that seems like the same thing, but
Gotcha.
it's frozen and not burning, which is weird.
Yeah, and his cabin, the cabin was on fire.
Mhm.
Cabin that Sola is talking about was frozen over, essentially.
He is going to give it a once over with like a little drafting pencil and have Mesmine help him for a +1. So we're going in on knowledge engineering, and I'm going to throw an inspo on top of that because I get free inspo for knowledge checks. So
Alright,
plus
21.
3 plus 1 from Mesmine.
Oh, so 22.
Hey,
That's pretty
Nice.
sick.
that's pretty sick.
Yeah, so you're able to do a pretty on-point drawing of this here. This is a cabin. It's not very large, and it's sort of in the middle of nowhere. Ismark draws a particularly large lake next to the cabin as well, and also even sketches some of the trees that were around. And Sola, looking at this, you can see a lot of similarities. Some of the curves in the lake in particular feel very familiar to you, as do the designs for the eaves on the cabin. You're fairly sure that somehow this is the same cabin.
Sola is just, you like turn the paper towards her, hand it over, and you can see her kind of like stare at it for a moment and then like trace a couple of lines with a finger, and she slowly nods. I do believe that this is the cabin, or at the very least it is very, very close to it.
So what does that mean?
Ismark, as you're asking this question, there is a knock at the door.
There's no more room.
That's exactly what Shay is thinking. She's like, it's not. She doesn't say anything, but it's just on her face. I'm like, who the fuck else is coming here? Who the fuck else knows where I fucking live? And she just walks.
You expecting someone?
No.
I think go to
Why
people
would
that
I?
can come here and talk to her are already here in the cabin.
Bingo. She forwards like a fucking like finger gun at Sola as she turns and walks towards the door.
Mez kind of slowly moves her hand towards her gun.
Just I imagine this is the moment where you're like John like scrunches down on Mez's shoulder, like yes, let's get him.
Start squaring up.
Yeah, John starts like puffing his self up, and he's moving his wings almost like he's shadow boxing, which is just very silly for a capybara to do. And as Shalelu sees this, she offers John a treat from inside of her packs. Shayadres, I'll just give you for free this.
Mm-hmm.
Shalelu makes those treats herself, and she uses them to placate goblin dogs. She makes them from rendered goblin fat, among other things.
Is that what the fuck?
She uses it for flavoring.
I imagine Shaya like hears the fucking crinkling of like the fucking I don't know how to describe it other than the
rustle.
I'll say the rustle, or maybe like those like little like tin can containers.
Mm-hmm.
Like fucking those old like
pop.
I'm thinking specifically that Drake and Josh episode where they couldn't open a can of nuts because it was bear proof.
Episode in my life.
It's literally just a container that you just twist open. It's metal, and I'm imagining that like that twisting sound. She hears it, and you just hear over her shoulder, "Don't let him eat that. Don't eat that. Don't."
What? Don't eat that, but it looks so tasty. It smells savory.
It's goblin fat. That's what she uses.
Sola just kind of blinks for a second. John, don't eat that.
Goblin fat? He just tilts his head, almost like 180 degrees around. And he's like, "Really, lady? Goblin fat?" Shalelu shrugs. "Well, you have to use every part of the goblin."
No.
Yeah, no, she has walked away from this fucking conversation. She's done her duty of don't eat the fucking goblin snack. That's her good deed for today. She goes up to the door and she's going to like listen, just in case there is a threat here. Because who the fuck is at her door? Everyone she knows is here already.
Kokoro, they have not opened the door for you immediately. Are you upset by this? Wait, do we have a Piper?
Piper's here. Hello.
Hello. It's been about 30 to 45 seconds.
Yeah, you knocked on the door. It's been 30 to 45 seconds.
And no response.
No response.
You probably hear slightly raised voices inside.
Probably also hear footsteps too.
Knock on the door again.
Alright. Well, she doesn't hear the clicking of a gun, so I guess she'll open it.
Hello.
The urge to slam the door shut is very strong. However, there's like this twitch in her hand. It's like, ow! Ew!
Me.
What are you doing here? How do you know where I live? Who told you?
Well, I can turn into a fox, and foxes have amazing senses of smell, you know.
Who told you?
The priest.
Lovely. I guess you can come in.
Why, thank you very much.
Why not? Everyone's here.
Oh, Kokoro,
Might as well.
This cabin is so small. It's meant for 2 people maximum.
Maybe 3 if they're familiar with each other and don't mind being within social distancing.
I guess you have to deal with being up close and personal with me.
Now,
Right.
currently there are 5 people plus a large capybara and a tiny
And a
bird.
dog.
And a giant ass dog.
Barney's also here.
Oh, I did think Barney came. I thought Barney was still at this forge.
Yeah.
No, Barney took the only other chair.
See, there's a couch that can fit 2 to 3 people. There are 2 chairs at a small table. There is a desk chair that Shay has brought out from her room. And she's closed the door to her room. You're not fucking going in there.
Even less space.
I feel like at this point she's like, okay, you know what? She's going to open up her bedroom door and stand in the bedroom, like in the doorway, you know, a little inside the doorway to like give more space.
Sola's like kind of watching this from the couch, and there is just a slight smirk. Remember to breathe, Shay.
Really? I almost forgot.
Pretty sure that if you could turn any redder, you would.
I couldn't hear you. What's up?
Pretty sure that if you could turn any redder, you would.
No, I'm just thinking, you know, thinking of moving.
I did tell you this space gets a terrible amount of rain.
Yeah. Probably gonna relocate.
Oh, so dramatic.
It's such a lovely place. Why would you leave?
She is being dramatic. Ignore her.
Oh, I love drama.
What
Of course you
bring-
do.
What brings you here, Kokoro?
So in Kokoro's arms is like a package that she's like carrying with like her hands underneath, and on top of that is like a Tanuki plush. She tries to hand the package without handing the plushie over, so she's just kind of like moving awkwardly. She's like, is it this right here? Can you take that?
Is she handing it to Shay or to someone?
Yeah, to you.
Squint. Like, what the
It's
suspicion?
It's a rectangular package. It's kind of heavy, and it's about the size of a piece of paper, although it's thick.
Sorry. What's this?
That is a delivery to you.
From who?
My brother.
Don't throw it.
What?
Don't throw it. There's not enough room to throw it.
She looks at it, she's like, pseudo.
That's the one.
Why? I haven't... Didn't even know he was in town. Last time I talked to him was a decade ago.
Well, no, he was there yesterday. He said
I didn't
hello.
talk to him.
I'm sensing some hostility here.
I
Perhaps
was a little
your-
busy at the moment.
Perhaps your question will be answered by simply opening the package.
Opening the package, I didn't think of that.
Ismark will like put one hand to the side of his mouth and lean over to Kokoro and be like, "Yeah, I kind of gave her a run through, like a little bit of a grilling, so she might be in a little bit of a mood. Not her fault.
I
though."
couldn't tell.
She's choosing to ignore that. She opens up
Shalelu-
the package. Sorry, what Shalelu do?
Shalelu leans over into this little tete-a-tete, and she goes, "Oh, she's always like that. She learned it from me."
Oh, I couldn't tell either. You look wonderful.
That's because you don't know me, dear.
I'd like to.
Shalelu just blinks at this.
Ismark puts his hands up like, "Nope, nope, nope."
There's
He's
tiny,
noping out of that conversation.
tiny smirk from Sola of just like this like little kind of almost stage whisper, like everybody can hear her, but it's also not like conversational. Oh look, we managed to break the elf.
All right. So, Amy, is Shadra's opening this in a way that the rest of the party can?
Can what?
Can the rest of the party see Shadra is opening this package? Or
I mean, she's opening it like normal.
Okay.
She's not like presenting it to them. She's just opening it like one would normally, but she's not like hiding it.
Okay.
Because she's like, well, if this is a fucking bomb, I want as many fucking witnesses as possible.
I'm taking you all out with me, man.
Everyone roll me a reflex save. No. Okay. So
she probably sorry, good.
No, go
you said it was like pretty like sizable package, but it was like thin-ish.
It's about the size of a piece of paper, but it is thick and kind of heavy.
I had it backwards.
Dictionary.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Okay. So she probably like motions to take one of the seats at the table so that she can open it there if it's sizable that she'd want it on the surface.
Yeah, Barney has moved.
Yeah.
Barney. Oh yeah. She takes Barney's seat.
It's still warm.
Good boy. She'll open it on the table, but she's just half listening to the conversation. She's focused on this package. She's scouring it for any signs of ill will.
So, as you're opening the package, you start to unwrap it. It's wrapped very nicely. Several layers of nice paper, and then a layer of padding kind of made from old cloth, it looks like. And when you remove the cloth, you see that what is presented to you is a small stained glass panel. And stained glass, as you're well aware, is usually done in much larger images than this. So the fact that it's this small really speaks to the level of detail involved in the work, and it is a splendid piece of art, what you have in front of you. The central image has an altar in the center of it.
What?
And
he's making a joke about another game.
An altar in the center of it, and sort of a cave-like background with a couple of braziers giving off light. On either side of the altar are two couples. On the left, there's a figure who seems to be patterned after Suto himself, kind of a brown-skinned man with pointed ears, in black armor, with a bow. Next to him is a woman with white hair and a glowing red arm. On the right seems to be Shadra herself. Bright red tiefling, ranger gear, sword and shield. Next to her is what seems to be another tiefling woman. Smaller, wearing indigo with crescent-shaped horns and some jewelry. Also a pair of bat wings. Both of the couples are standing hand in hand. Like most works of stained glass art, there's icons in the corners. In the top left, there's some sort of canine. In the bottom left, there's a white fox. The top right has a bee.
Hold on. Top left, some sort of canine. Bottom right, a white fox.
That's bottom left, white fox.
Bottom left, white fox. Okay. Just give me a second.
I have all of this typed up for you, so I can save you that effort if you would like.
No. Sorry. How I remember things is by writing them down / typing them. However, this is my husband's keyboard. And it's weird. Yep. So I'm a little slower than usual. So top left, some sort of canine. Bottom left, white fox.
White fox. Top right is a bee, as in like the insect, a bee. Okay. And then the bottom right is an elk's head. And roll me a wisdom, just a straight wisdom, Shay.
Oh boy.
Shay, you haven't met that many people with white hair in your life. Like, it's not common. But it was one of the things that the townsfolk used to prize your sister for.
She stares at it for a second, and then she like squints and like holds it like closer as if she's examining it. And she kind of just stiffens a second. She covers it back up, puts it away. And just leaves it on the table. She like stands up.
That is not a good face.
She turns to look at Sola. When do I ever have a good face?
You are dodging the comment. What is it?
Stained glass piece.
That has angered you.
I'm all confused. Little angry. Where is Pseudo? I want to talk to him.
Eh. Sit down. Calm down.
She's like, what? Got some questions. Want to thank him.
That is not your thanking anybody with.
Or you're thanking anyone in town. Not that you ever thank me for anything.
I like her.
So it just slowly stands up, moves over to the table, and is going to uncover the stained glass if nobody stops her.
Shay is going to just like not stop her, but like pause her for a second. And she's like, one of the people in it, I think, is supposed to be my sister.
What?
Sola just kind of lifts her head. And like kind of like a acknowledgement. I understand why you are worked up now. And we'll finish uncovering the glass. And kind of stare at it for a second. And I am assuming that your sister is not the one beside you.
People always talked about her white hair. Drove her crazy about it. Pseudo, one of them, wouldn't shut up about it.
So just...
Shalelu. Oh, gone.
No, you go ahead.
Shalelu also leans over to look at the stained glass and winces. Yes, they did used to call her Nualia silver-hair at points, and the resemblance is striking. You say it was Suto who did this, Suto Kaijutsu?
Well, it's Suto Suzuha now, since we've abandoned our family name.
Shalelu just blinks.
I believe there was some family drama over the past few days.
Ah, I see. My condolences. I've been in a similar situation. And why? Did he give a reason for why he created such a thing? It must have taken him quite some time.
Well, I don't know the exact reason, but he said that it would hopefully explain some things to Miss Shea here. Shay addressed. Suto believes that Father's the one behind everything, and he's left to go try and get some evidence to prove it. So you won't find him here in Sandpoint anymore.
So he's running,
Hunting.
hunting, right?
And do you know this other figure?
Say that again.
She's asking to Shay, do you know the other figure?
Okay.
She looks at the other figure.
You know the other figure, Shay.
Oh yeah.
Mez probably does too.
She just looks at it. She's like, shrug. Looks a little different.
But that is a yes.
I think it's Grizz.
Wait. So, Pseudo knows Grizz,
Apparently.
and you didn't know about it. Okay.
No. I haven't spoken to him in a decade. Last time I spoke to him, he was trying to get me to give Nualia one of his pictures he drew. And I told him she wouldn't care about it, because she was, 22? We were 12? Why would she?
There is an implication of relationships in this. Between you and this Grizz and him and your sister.
She looks down. She's like, holds up a finger. First of all, points to Nualia. She's been dead for a decade. Second of all, points to herself. I don't intend on... Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this. She gestures to because it's an altar in the center, right?
Yes, it's an altar in the center.
Mm-hmm.
Is it an altar to anybody recognizable or any god that's recognizable? Or is it just
Well, only a
generic?
knowledge religion check.
Wow, roll a knowledge religion check.
I feel like that's something I should put points in just because.
All right, Solo, you've seen a lot of altars in your time. Most of them have a fairly similar language to them, especially the more beneficent gods. You know, there's a statue in the center, there's some offering bowls, there's flowers, maybe some other weird stuff according to each particular god. This is not one of those altars. This is clearly one of the more maleficent altars because there's a space there for where you might sacrifice something. There's a little rivulet running down the center so that you see a knife on there as well as a pair of shears, and there's no obvious symbols as to which god this would be to, but not a great one.
Okay.
Would the symbols in the corners hint towards any god in particular?
The elk is a symbol of Erastil, and it's usually not a bee, but bees and wasps are kind of colored similarly sometimes. The wasp is...
You cut out.
Oh, the wasp is a symbol of Callistria.
Okay.
Although it's a bee specifically.
And that's like the goddess of like trickery or some shit?
Trickery, betrayal, and courtesans. Also elves.
All right. I don't know. What was my last thing? I know I stopped mid-sentence. I forgot.
She's been dead for 10 years, and second of all.
Yes. Yeah. I'm assuming that Shay just recognizes this as an altar.
She
It did
does,
not roll.
because when she clicked on it, the narration explicitly said altar.
Exactly. But she didn't pick up on any of the other stuffs. So she's assuming this is like, Pseudo's gonna marry her dead sister. It's like, okay, fucked up. He's like, yeah, first of all, blah, she's been dead for a fucking long time. And second of all, I plan on marrying, a man. So, some confusion here.
How much bullshit does Sola smell coming off of her right now?
This is a complicated one. Amy, how much bullshit would you say?
Shea means exactly what she said.
Behind Shea, Shalelu just sort of winces out of eyeshot.
Just like, sees Shillelagh wince, looks towards Mez.
Mez is staring directly at Barney and is petting Barney.
Avoiding the topic.
Yeah. Explicitly not looking at anyone else.
Mm-hmm. And Shay looks like she just stated that her name is Shayadrez. That's just a fact.
And there is this, like, Sola looks back at Shay with this very much like an expression that says, I don't believe anything you are saying at the moment, but I also am not diving into this. And she looks back at the stained glass and will kind of like trace a finger over the altar and kind of like point to it. I am not so certain that marriage is the point of this. This is not an altar to any god that you want to preside over your marriage.
She like squints and she's like, wait, what did I miss?
This is a sacrificial altar. And only a handful of gods demand sacrifices.
Ah, great.
I
Lovely.
cannot be certain. Because the symbols on the corners are so simple and so plain. But it is possible that the goddess of trickery and betrayal is being pointed to, and the god of magic? No, this is a magic god, right?
The god of the Erastil?
Erastil, okay.
Erastil is the nature god.
She knows all about that.
Yes. Yeah, she would have recognized that one for free.
Oh, yeah. She's like, I know this. I don't know what the fuck the bee is.
Which is, I'm assuming those two don't normally get put in, like, beside each other.
Absolutely the fuck not. Erastil does not like that woman.
Mm-hmm. And also, like, Shay's got, like, a dagger made out of an elk antler on her hip.
I'm not certain why there is the mention of Erastil and Calistria in the same in the same panel, but this is a I'm assuming not any type of god that Erastil or any type of altar that Erastil would want associated with him.
No. Absolutely not. She's gonna fucking wrap the fucking stained glass piece back up, put it back in the envelope.
Did your sister have something wrong with her arm?
No.
No. I was gonna say, like, no, I don't think so. Like, no.
And the sister is the one that had the red arm?
Yes.
Sister
Yep.
Nualio.
Mhm,
Yeah.
Sister Nualia.
Yeah, that is another interesting thing then. I had to be depicted with a red arm.
Turns to Kokoro. Your brother's got some explaining to do.
You
If
can
he
ask him
made
when
it.
he returns.
If
Yeah, if he did make it, maybe he got it from someone else.
yeah, lots of people in this town know how to make custom stained glass pieces. So many.
Yeah, all right, fair point, fair point.
And to be completely fair, even if it was somebody else that did it, well, he would have to know, number one, who did it, and more than likely have to request it. I don't think people go around making stained glass about random other people they live around.
Hughes Markness nods slowly. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh boy.
Right?
And this is why I am concerned. There are too many things happening at once that are not adding up to be just mere coincidence.
I think you're right about that. Things like this are why I stay out of cities, but it seems that Shadris hasn't been so lucky. This is dire work. And if I'm to give my 2 cents on the situation, that does appear to be Kaijutsu style work, so if it is from someone else, they would have had to do quite a great deal of concealing their work.
This was supposed to explain things, right?
Turn to Kokoro.
Yeah, she's asking Kokoro.
That's what Suta told me.
Considering what's on here, it seems almost more like a threat than anything. Some weird one, but
If my brother wanted to threat somebody, he would do it to the
Oh
face.
no.
He wouldn't
We lost the
need.
Joe.
Oh god, where'd the Joe go?
We
my
lost
bro-
Joe!
Joe, come back!
Suto must have threatened Ismark.
Yeah, threaten the one with the family. This is how you make it stick.
His internet probably went out for him to be gone.
oh,
Yeah.
there you go. There he is.
There he is.
Hi.
Welcome back, DJ
Welcome
Joe.
back.
Welcome back.
God damn it.
So what were you saying, Piper? I'm sorry.
If my brother wanted to threaten somebody, he would do it to their face, and he wouldn't spend time in the glasswork that he despises to do it.
If it's not a threat, then it's gonna be some kind of, I don't know, maybe a weird confession?
Or a promise.
It's like I already told you, he suspects that his father's the one behind all of this, and he's going to investigate.
Hmm.
I mean, if that were true, why didn't he just tell Shay himself? Or
Because
get her
she's
involved?
obviously suspecting him, like a rabid dog goes after a piece of meat.
Yeah, but like, wouldn't the best way to alleviate the suspicion would be to get her involved? Take her with him?
Well, why do you think he had me send us? To get her involved.
I think you might be missing the point. It just makes him look more suspicious, in my opinion.
Well, that's because you lot already suspect him to begin with.
I have nothing against him. I just seeing this, you know. I don't know
Not
what
sure
I'm
what to
supposed to
make
make
of
of it.
Yeah. Do you know when he'll be back, maybe?
He said he's gonna go find evidence and that he wouldn't be too long.
Is your family Tetsuo, not Tetsuo, fucking what's his name again?
Pseudo.
Taijutsu?
Pseudo. And what's the dad's name again?
Longiku.
Lonjuku. Is so Lonjuku gifted in any type of arcane arts that you are aware of?
Pseudo? A mage?
He does not have mage levels. He's a ranger, but he hasn't gotten spellcasting.
Yet! Huh?
Furthermore, I should add that my father's planning to flee to Menkai as soon as possible.
So
So
if he,
the answer is no on both counts, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
well, if your brother thinks it's your father, then like, shouldn't we go stop him?
If you want to track down Longiku, be my guest.
Probably still at the glassworks, isn't he?
He could be. He could already be at the docks headed taking the first ship out. That's not my idea.
I think this, what was your name again? Ward?
What? Easemark Ward, yeah.
I think this Easemark fellow might have a point. No matter how desperate Longiku is, I can't see him leaving with taking a small amount of his work along with him. There are very hard to come by materials at the glassworks. Lost you again.
Oh,
Finch,
Joe.
maybe he should stop DJing.
Yeah.
I think he's got to stop DJing, my dude.
No,
Discord gods are telling you no.
no, it's fine. It's fine. Hold on. I'm gonna go to the right. This one. It's fine.
Dude,
It's
give it
just
up.
fault. It's because fucking NVIDIA was like, hey, do you mind if we uninstall and reinstall your drivers really quick? And I was like, right now? And then it uninstalled them and reinstalled them.
Hey, do you mind? We're going to anyway.
So Shalelu just said that she thinks Longiku would at least stop by the glassworks before skipping town.
Is there any
Why don't
particular
we,
reason that your father is planning on leaving to Minkai that he told you?
No, in fact, it was quite out of the blue. The whole reason he disowned us is because we refused to suddenly pack up and run with him.
Okay.
It does sound at the very least like it would be beneficial to go and talk to him. Because no matter which one, if either of them actually are involved, it would be better to keep both of them in town. Worry Mr. Thor. We can get Longjuko.
And I would want to go down to the glassworks, check on him now. Presuming none of you guys are all busy at the moment. You included, gesturing to Kokoro. I know you've had kind of a contentious relationship with your father over the past few hours, but I still think that, well, you could at least be a good person to facilitate the conversation.
I'll give whatever assistance I can.
This may be an odd question, Kokoro, but just on the off chance, have you received an odd message lately?
Did I receive a what?
Odd message.
Yeah, like a weird letter.
Kokoro blinks as she like reaches into her robe and pulls out like a signet letter.
Ah, shit.
What does yours say?
Let me go grab it.
Such is the burden of being a
I got
DM who hands out
Oh, you got
secret
it. You got
notes.
it.
She unfurls it, makes a cough. She makes a couple of coughs, and then she does like some singing noises as if to warm up her voice, like "Me, me, 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 la la la, la." To the goddess reborn. You are not familiar with me, but I am quite familiar with you. In fact, you might even say that the two of us are family. In keeping with these bonds, I must ask that you keep this little missive private. Oops. She coughs again. Anyway, there's much that won't be clear to you as yet. I ask for your patience and understanding in these matters, much as every actress has her mark in time, so do we. What I would like to ask you, dear relative, is to act. You see, your brother is beginning to worry. He feels like he's been getting an undue amount of attention lately. Too many stresses, too from your father, so he will be stepping away for a bit to recover. If anybody else heard, then they might make undue suspicions towards him. There's so many eyes dotting about these days. Please defend his honor for your doting relative.
Well, that was a hell of a lot more pleasant than some of the ones we got. No offense to you, if that's offensive.
She just blinks.
Yeah, well, try this one on for size. And Ismark hands you the one that he got, which is literally like a fucking black hand note from Elder Scrolls. It's just a blank sheet with dead smack in the center. I'm watching.
Oh, that's fun most of the stuff.
Yeah, tell me about it.
So we'll kind of hold out a hand towards Kokoro. May I see this?
She just blinks and hands you the letter.
Is there any weird shit going on with this one, Kira?
No, this one's perfectly fine so far as you can tell. No weird magic.
Shay, I got another thing for your nose.
How does the writing look, by the way?
The writing looks again like somebody is trying to conceal the hand, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see what I wrote in my notes here. Okay, yes, it's written in a stiff, formal hand, as if adopted by one attempting to mimic another one's handwriting.
Like Shay's.
Yes.
So Sola just kind of lifts her chin. Shay, I do need you to come back out here. You might want to look at this. And maybe take a sniff.
I hate that that's just a thing you can say to her. it's kind of cursed if you take a step back.
It is cursed. But also, you're the one that was like, big sniffums.
Listen, I wasn't the one who named Big Sniffums Big Sniffums. That was Kira.
I did indeed name it that.
You did
Yeah.
accept it though, and go along with it.
Because it's
We
fun.
are fast approaching the in-character. Shay, do you sniffums?
Dude, the look you'd get. What the fuck?
The vile look followed by
Fucking hand it over. Fucking just give it to me.
I would pay you money, Joe, to work that in for Easemark at some point.
Dude. And then you gotta throw in, is that offensive? I'm sorry.
Is that
That's
weird?
becoming
Yeah,
his
it's a little weird,
catchphrase.
but like I don't mean it to be weird.
Yeah.
Just sniff it.
But Shay just fucking begrudgingly just fucking comes back out from her room. It's like, what?
Just holds out Kokoro's letter. This seems very similar to yours.
What is it from? Takes letter.
It was given to Kokoro. Was it just left outside your door, or did you receive it some other way?
It was in the mail.
Big Sniffums activate.
Roll me a survival check, and then I will be right back and tell you what the results are.
Okie doke. I can take my time typing
Piper,
this up then.
Can you copy and paste that into general, that letter?
I like the
Everything.
matter-of-factness with which like Ismark showed a letter, and then Kokoro's like, "Wow, that's way more sinister." It's like, yeah, isn't it? Yours is
Yeah.
nice.
Yours is very formal and polite.
Mine doesn't even have fucking punctuation. It's just the threat in the middle of the page.
Kokoro is very honest.
That's great.
Rightfully so, because
Yeah.
like Ismark expected it. He's like, "Please tell me that this is not like that. Me being upset about this is normal, right? Like, yeah, it's weird."
Thank you.
And I can't spell for shit.
Hello again.
Hello, I got a 22.
22. All right. Sure. This smell.
Smelly
Smell. Does smell identical to the letter that you received. It is, again, a very nostalgic scent to you. But not one you can place. Definitely the same, though.
Okay. She just like takes it into her hand and looks down on it, and as she's reading it, she just like, same smell as mine.
So
And I'm assuming the handwriting looks similar?
Yes, the handwriting is the same mass handwriting that you got.
Mm.
So the thief and the doting relative are the same person. More than likely.
Yep. She pulls the letter back up, steps over to hand it to Kokoro.
My thanks.
A nod.
This may be a bit of a weird question, but do you both know people, similar people?
I assume not.
Well, Suto does stop by the same tanner that we do, actually.
What?
Yes, he goes to the same tanner.
When?
Every month or so, occasionally I bump into him. Also, a few of the same supply stores, if I don't miss my guess.
How long has he been in town? I thought he left a decade ago.
Well, he does, but... Well, perhaps I shouldn't tell you this, but he does have his own cabin on the other side of town.
She just looks. She looks so confused. She's like, I haven't seen him.
He doesn't like being seen when he's out
No
and
shit.
about.
What? He has a cabin. What? Same Tana?
Yes, same tanner, some of the same suppliers.
Why?
Guess you two are more similar than we thought.
I don't think we're similar.
Are you certain of that? Because I can't think of many other people who would construct a cabin of roughly this size just outside of town and who have the same, shall we say, a charming disposition.
Habits?
You get a soft smirk.
Shadress is so fucking confused because to her, last time she saw this guy was fucking at the funeral. She hasn't fucking seen him since. She has no clue what he's like or where he's been. She has no clue he was fucking in town at all. Or that he has a cabin similar to hers, apparently, just outside of town, just like hers is. She looks so confused.
But do you know where this cabin is, Shalalu?
Well, yes, I do. I could take you there if you like, but, well, it would be violating the sacred oath of cabins, but I see we've done quite a bit of that already.
I think it's fair.
Is this sacred?
I think it'd be fair if we knew where his is.
Don't worry about it, he's marked there being a little protective.
Oh.
What?
Don't
Nothing.
worry
Keep
about
doing
it.
your thing.
So, if I may ask, Kokoro, did you say your name was?
Goddess Reborn, at your service.
Shalilu blinks.
There's a
And
slight shake of the head from Sola behind.
Well, I can't say I've ever met a goddess before. Goddess, ma'am, would you happen to know where your quite earthly brother would have gone off to? If we were to try and find him, would we best look at the glassworks or at the cabin?
Well, he did say that he was going to uncover evidence, so I would guess the glassworks first, out of those two options.
Well, How about this for a compromise? I can accompany you to the glassworks then, and if we don't find him there, then I'll take you.
Or we could just split up.
I don't think that is a very wise decision. Besides, your father did make us promise to keep an eye on you.
Barney barks.
With Bonnie's help.
I mean, he's probably just being a bit overprotective, you know?
Yes, but those could break his mark.
Break me? What?
Shadris gives Ismark an up and down.
Mez does the same thing.
There's like a slight tilt as like calculating, and then like a nod of like, yeah, you good.
What?
Well, if we stick as, as two separate groups, it's not like we go alone or anything. I'm fine either way, though. Just a suggestion.
Just slowly leaning down to whisper to Mez so only Mez can hear. If we have to divide and conquer, then that would leave Shay with Kokoro. I don't think that's wise, do you?
Right.
Straightens back up again.
Mez kind of like gives the look of like, not the full on anime gulp, but like just the slight, yeah, okay, you're right. Good point.
Could be very interesting. However, Sola is in the business of keeping everybody alive and sane.
I mean, Shay isn't the type.
And sane being the key.
And sane is the key, because Shay is not the type to act out in violence. She's the type to walk away and be a smartass about it.
Which can also lead to death, though, because, be frank here, Shay is going to survive a fight. Kokoro, depending on what they're hitting with, might not. Level 1 casters be squishy, man.
Kokoro does not have a single combat spell.
Yep.
Yeah, Shay, you gotta remember, as fucking... because Sola wouldn't know this, because she's known Shay for a while, that as much as Shay dislikes people, she is extremely religious, and she worships Erastil, the person who's all about community and helping your fellow people. And making sure that they're safe and shit like that.
But yes, sane is the key part of that.
Sane is the key part.
That's why we're not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't Shay also the person that says, people aren't people or whatever? It's a person.
Oh, that's her being an introvert. Of like, I don't like being around people, but you guys don't count.
I was making a joke, but
sorry. Okay, sorry. I thought there was actual confusion there.
No.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, Shay doesn't hear the whisper, but she's just like, I don't think we should, split up.
Indeed. Do you know what happens to animals that split up in the woods?
The weakest is usually eaten, no?
Indeed. And some of you are looking very weak. Empirically speaking, of course. I would never eat you.
But we wouldn't be in the wild. We'd be in town.
Well, if they're actually at the glassworks. We would be in the wild if we have to go to the cabin.
I was making what's called a metaphor. You see, for me, the town is quite like the wilds. And for Shadress, too.
No.
No?
Nod to the forest. That's better.
Well, yes, but for the purposes of this demonstration, I was inverting the two. Never mind. I will take you to the glassworks.
We would appreciate that. And I do believe that getting started now would be in the best interest of everybody. Not to mention, keep Shay Idris's cabin in one piece before anybody else shows up.
I'm moving.
No,
Sam.
you are not.
Fucking Claire.
Well, gather whatever you folks need, and I will meet you outside.
Sola and Holly make their exit immediately.
Mm. She stops into her room just to like take a breath, and I don't know, looks through to make sure she's got all her shit.
Splash
Probably
her face
goes
with
into-
water from the wash basin.
Yeah, goes into the kitchen, takes out like a container of fucking I don't know almonds and like a mixed nuts as a snack.
You don't have to fight John for those.
Yeah, you can have a couple. She'll take a fucking. Imagine it's like, I'm just gonna decide this now, as I do with all my characters, about small things that become their entire fucking personality. An example: bread with silvers. Of she has a big ass container like the size of like a thermos, but it's all just mixed nuts, and that's her snack. That's her thing she eats. She fucking brings that out, and she's like, "Okay, I'm ready."
All right. So the party gathers and ventures forth to the glassworks. DJ, can I have a music swap, please?
Yes. Do you have
I
a
think
preference?
I think you know the vibe.
Spooky, scary
So first-
skeletons and shivers down my spine.
Do that.
Right. A chaos roll.
Oh, not really.
Oh,
I don't want to get you excited. I don't have all of my macros set up. I just have my D20 and my D100. That was just a flip a coin.
Okay.
She is going to share her snack with whoever would
With
like
John.
some. With John. I imagine John flew to like stand on her shoulder as soon as she cracked it open.
Hey, you got some nuts? Are these Sharon nuts?
Wordlessly hands one over.
It's gobbled immediately. This bird gobbles it like it's a glizzy. Throws his head back.
Jesus Christ.
Incredible.
Can I make a request, DM?
Yes. What's up?
Could Mez have made a rough sketch of the art that Suto made?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I mean, technically, couldn't she like, because stained glass is essentially taking metal and lining edges of glass and then soldering it. Couldn't she like put down a piece of paper and like get like a charcoal like etch of it because the edges are raised because it's soldered?
You could do that if you like.
Mm-hmm.
I was considering that, but Mez didn't want to make a big scene and maybe upset Shay more, so I figured she'd draw it herself, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just in case we need it for reference again.
Yeah, I mean, Shay just put it away mostly because it's glass and it could break.
Mm. But yeah,
Dirty.
Mez doesn't want to upset her friend by making a big scene out of it, so.
Okie doke. Good friend, Mez.
So, as you approach Sandpoint again, you're struck by how beautiful a view Shadress has town. Situated as she is on kind of a cove overlooking the rest of it, you can see pretty much everything. If you try, you can spot your own houses, especially Sola's, which, right by the docks, and of course Mesmene's, which is the closest of any of your homes. You can spot the theater. You can, of course, spot the old light, which towers over the town. But there's something else that some of you might spot as you're approaching. A very thick plume of black smoke seems to be coming up out of the glassworks. This isn't unexpected. Whenever the glassworks are working, there's always going to be smoke as a result of the process involved. There's a great deal of burning going on in there, and burning of complex chemicals as well. But as you make your way through the town, it strikes you that, well, the glassworks seem oddly quiet today. Which is strange because it's one of the biggest industries in Sandpoint. Usually, as you approach the area of the glassworks, there's any number of labor about, just sort of sharing a cigarette or a quick meal, lamenting the amount of work that Lon makes them do. But today, you don't see anything like that at all. The path there is pretty clear, and nobody seems to be lingering around at all. Another oddity that you notice is all of the curtains appear to be drawn, which is, again, strange. Sandpoint, being as it is a kind of a tourist town, likes to show off the part of the local tour, but with the curtains drawn, you can't really see what's going on in there, which is part of the attraction of stopping by the glassworks. People have all sorts of questions about it.
Do things seem oddly quiet to anyone else?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't want to say it, but I'm definitely
where is
getting a funny
everyone?
feeling.
Kokoro, to no one does this feel odder than you, incidentally. Every time you've been to the glassworks, and you've been inside quite a bit, it's been absolutely bustling. And you know for a fact that Lon keeps the curtains open at all times because he gets a cut of the tourist dollars. And it would be very, very unheard of for him to have.
The end of your sentence cut off. Very, very unheard of. For
Oh,
what?
for the curtains to be drawn like this. What is up with my mic? God damn it!
I would advise that we be a little cautious on our approach.
Yeah. And Ismar kind of pulls the edges, like grabs the hem of his coat, pull it a little bit tighter around him.
Shalelu kind of does the same with her cloak, but you see that she's reaching for her bow instead. And she turns to Shaydress. I don't suppose you can smell anything amiss, can you?
She takes a second and breathes in. Does anything smell different?
Make me a survival check.
Okie doke.
Hockey dokie.
Oh,
Oaksily doksily. Wow, that's like the lowest you've ever rolled.
yikes.
Even your
Well,
nose is suspicious.
It smells of char. It smells of burning. It smells
Ouch.
of things you do not like, Shaydress.
Shay just breathes in for a second and she just fucking sneezes. I rolled a 2. Yeah, smoking tar. Can't get past it.
Just gonna go ahead and reach down and kind of pat Holly. We can give Holly a stored spell for me.
What are you storing?
Cure light wounds.
That's a good idea. As you give Holly a pat, her fur glows for a second and then settles. And it just looks like she has a kind of a small metallic sheen to her fur now.
Shiny.
She's a shiny capybara.
And she will also go ahead and collect John from the tieflings.
John flies over hesitantly. He really likes those nuts, but he does feel something is amiss.
Mez will kind of slide her gun over her shoulder into position. I imagine it's kind of slinged.
Mhm.
Like she has a piece of rope or whatever around her shoulder and like keeping the gun to her back. So she kind of pulls
Yeah.
it out, pulls it off, and holds it, and then kind of pats Barney's like, "Stay close."
Kokoro.
Who's... Oh, sorry.
If you're just describing preparation, go ahead.
She just slides a hand onto the hilt of her sword.
Kokoro, is there a back door or something that we can go through?
Looks up to God.
Let me double check here.
You
Like,
can't look to
technically,
the
it's a
gods.
factory.
Let me DM you something. Okay.
You have to look beyond the gods.
You have to look beyond God for a second here.
You gotta
put
write
it-
canon in these streets.
God whispers to you, Kokoro.
Yes, the wisdom of Daikitsu. Back entrance, she's just kinda... not a back entrance, but come on, I'll show you differently.
Everybody eagerly follows Kokoro.
Let's go to the beach.
Can we get a map of standpoint real quick? Where is the glass again?
Other side of town.
The glassworks are inside town. I'll ping them for you once I switch maps real quick. Let me find them for you. I think they're labeled. Yeah, it's over here.
We still have to go to the other map.
Oh, yes. Okay. So this is Sandpoint itself, and you can see the glassworks are over here.
Right. Oh yeah, I labeled them.
Yes.
Color coded them. Nice.
Okay.
Other side of town.
Hold over here.
Kokoro is going to lead you guys else the fuck where, but you're gonna end up over here, so I'll just move you over here right now. As I try to figure out where the fuck to put you.
Are we over here?
This is the Glassworks map that you guys are on now, or you should be on. Yes. I'm just going to figure out what square you're going to emerge in real quick.
Calculating.
Buffering.
arithmetic is happening.
We're in the
Division.
loading screen.
Yes, you're in the loading screen.
Imagining like those little little in-game tips appear on screen. A 5-foot step is something.
Okay.
Don't
All
feed
right.
Cece more than 2 things of honey or she gets hyper.
All right. So I want you guys to look in the top right.
Yes.
You see where
Up
I'm
there.
pinging here?
Yes.
Yeah.
You can put your pogs anywhere along this.
Okie doke. I'm assuming Shay is leading, unless someone else wants to lead.
I don't
I'm
know.
assuming Kokoro is leading,
Should.
and Shay right behind her,
Yeah.
because Shay is
Ismark will be right
cosplaying as the
after,
tank.
because Ismark is a melee character.
Exactly. So we gotta follow the squishy caster. Got the 2 melees, followed by the 2 ranged / other caster.
May as well stay in the back.
And get in the fucking front line. Also, is it just me or does this little slots right here look like a shrimp?
It does look like a shrimp. It do be shrimping.
It do be shrimping. Okay, that was the first thing I thought of when I saw it, and I was like, shrimp shape.
Because of grid, Holly can't be immediately under Sola, but Holly is like immediately under Sola. Like half hidden in skirts.
All
Aw.
right. So
Where's Kokoro? Put the token.
I'll
Piper.
take down
Piper.
to Kokoro.
Hand over the fox girl.
hand over the fox girl. No one gets hurt.
Why are there lights flashing up?
Somebody's getting arrested. Go get the tea.
All
It's
right.
a white light that flashes every 5 minutes once. Oh, it might be storming.
That's disappointing. I wanted the tea.
You get enough tea at work.
No, I don't.
Anyway, back to the game. Gotta get the imaginary tea now.
Yes. All right. So Kokoro leads you all way away from the glassworks to the point where at first you think she'd be messing with you because she's leading you down the cliffside, sort of around to where the coast is below the glassworks. And this isn't an area that to you seems to have any relation to it whatsoever, but there's an awful lot of caves along this coast here, and Kokoro has been to this place enough that she knows which one to pick. She picks a fairly sizable cavern, one that you can thankfully stand all the way up in. Although it's a little narrow in places, it never really gets to the point where you have to squeeze through. As you're walking through this cavern, could anybody who cares to make me a survival check? Or knowledge nature.
I would like to make a knowledge nature check.
All right.
I'm medium good at this.
You're not good
Oh,
at
that's
this.
really fucking bad. That's the dumbest I've ever been.
Man.
That's Isbark, this is a cave. You don't like caves, buddy.
All you can imagine is the children's book you read to Cece a few weeks ago that has very simple terms about rocks.
Ismark, you don't like caves. You've seen a little fucking happen in caves. People get stuck in here all the time. Their bodies left to rot forever, trapped in this chamber. Nobody can extract their bones. You don't even know if they get to see Pharasma after this. It's very easy for something to cave. You're just so aware of this that you can't take in anything else. Every caving horror story you have ever heard is flicking through your mind at once. Mez, you're not much better off.
Ismark pulls out one of his trusty smokes and starts puffing on that while he is walking down the hallway.
Shay just is gonna fucking turn around and fucking pinch that fucking cigarette. We're in a confined cave, sir.
Shaydras, what you know about this cave, you haven't been in this one in particular, but you have been in some caves before. They make for very good shelter in the middle of the night. You don't have to set up an A-frame or anything like that. As long as you can determine that the cave is safe-ish, you can usually sleep there for a night. What you know about this cave is that, well, it looks like it's been used a lot, especially around the sides and underfoot. It looks as if the rougher areas have either been chiseled away. So, whatever this is used for, it gets used for pretty often. Uh, a lot of the formations are also starting to degrade in a way that speaks to human interference. And there's also lichen and moss growing in places where they don't in caves like this. Sola, what you can tell in addition is that a lot of the mosses and lichens that you see here are in fact not of legal. You can find a couple of the mushrooms as lance trumpets throughout this cave as you're making your way through it. But another thing that you notice is that this has been in continuous use, and somebody must have passed through here very recently, judging by the bruising on some of the mushrooms.
You said that the a lot of the mosses and shit are drugs?
Yes,
Okay.
can be used in poisons, but also just regular run-of-the-mill drugs.
But they're safe to like touch
Yes,
in
except for the
general.
trumpets.
Okay.
Don't fuck with the trumpets.
Yeah.
But everything else is fine.
As soon as she spots the first one, like she like kind of like stretches her neck out and like looks and sees more down further. You would avoid touching any of the mushrooms that you see. Unless you would like to be like all of the people at the theater the other day.
Get a two-finger salute over the shoulder from Shay.
She will also just very, very quickly, very quietly, Mez is gonna have to like pause for a second. Just scrape off some of the moss into a vial. Tuck it away.
Collection.
You have gained moss. I
Poison
will give
moss.
you more details on this moss later.
Yep.
It's a very long, very, very long path. And I mean, it takes you the better part of 15 to 20 minutes. But as you continue further in, you start to notice that there are rings on the side of the wall where you can store torches. And you start to see some torches, in fact, a couple of them that are still lit as you go further into this cave. Shaydras and Sola also spot hooks that are used for pulleys and levers and transporting heavy equipment.
Kokoro, do you know what this tunnel has been used for?
Launchku tends to come here for his more shading dealings.
Mm. Just noise of displeasure and understanding.
Cassie would lead us this way.
I mean, if she is no longer part of the family, what does she care?
Good point.
You guys wanted to stay safer way in.
And we thank you. Ismark, you might want to tell Baylor of this later.
I definitely plan on writing some kind of report about this.
Further into the cave you go until eventually you come to a very, very old door at the end of it. and you find yourselves in what appears to be sort of roughshod chamber. Kokoro, you would recognize this as the back entrance, so to speak.
Oh, there it is.
Is the door closed or is the door open?
The door is currently closed.
Go poke it with
Well.
a stick, Shay.
Yeah. Like, does Kokoro just reach for the door, or does she wait?
She just kind of
She just kind of what? Cut out.
pointed at the door.
Okay.
Ta-da! I led you to a door.
Ta-da! Alright, well, Shay will step forward and, like, suspicion. She's going to poke, like, examine the door, because she got fucking burned by a booby trap once. And whoever they're dealing with knows how to fucking make booby traps. So she's going to see if she can spot anything. And then she's going to call Leesmark over.
Ismark will slide up,
Do you need a stick?
and I got one, and he'll pull his rapier off of his little back holster.
I don't know
But
if that's a stick, but okay.
he's gonna try to examine the store, see if he can find some trippy traps.
Shay is, if Kokoro is okay with it, Shay is going to like put a hand on her shoulder and just like move her back a little bit so they can swap spots.
I will happily get into the back line.
No,
Away
you're
from all the
staying.
danger.
You're staying close. You're going right here.
No, I'm good.
All right,
Well,
well,
she can't move too far
And-
back because Sola's there.
put your token down.
If there's enough space, could Mez kind of examine the door as well? Give the helping hand to Eastmark.
You can
Scoot
squeeze.
past.
Is there enough space?
For the purposes of this, you can squeeze.
Okay. Kind of leaning against the wall, examining the door, seeing what kind of metal, I guess, makes up it. Anything weird about it?
I don't know if it is helpful or harmful in this instance, but the mosses that we passed seem to suggest somebody has come through this door recently.
Ah, great. Shay pulls out her fucking shield.
So somebody gonna roll a perception check?
I will. Sha.
Does he get a bonus from Liz?
He does get a bonus from Mez, which brings him to a 20.
I'm not going to use an inspiration on that because I think
I-
20 is sufficiently high.
I fully thought you were going to.
Mm-hmm.
This is a door brand door, Eastmark. There's nothing amiss with it as far as you can see, although it was probably recently used. There is just something about the way the hinges are and the feeling you get when you touch the doorknob. Give the feeling that this is opening a bit too quickly. It's not something that's fallen into disrepair. Even though it has the look of a very old, beaten-up door that would be in disrepair. That, so far as you can tell, it's nothing wrong with it. It's not even locked.
Well, it's not locked. So Ismark's just gonna like go ahead, open the door. If it ain't trapped and it ain't locked.
All right.
Shay has shield out. Right next to Eastmark. Just in case there's, I don't know, a fucking dagger flying out the door. She don't trust shit. She got yeeted into the air last time they entered a place.
Mez is more than willing to trade places with Shay.
Mm-hmm.
Get out of this corner.
The door opens without so much as a creak. Swings open, really. Up ahead is a storage room. Kind of a not one in very good repair, mind you. It does look like somebody's been rifling through a whole bunch of this stuff recently. And that's a problem, given that most of what's in here is sand and raw materials, things that Kokoro would probably recognize as she's looking over them. Copper salts that are used to lend a blue color, other chemicals used for other colors, etc. But it looks like it's been ransacked fairly recently. It's a wide hallway that sort of circles around, and as you explore more, you can find out.
All right.
Who's going first?
Easemark's won't be either Shay or Easemark.
One of us.
Shay's got the shield. Easemark has the trap detecting.
Mm-hmm. So the two of them work together.
He'll step out first and just give a quick up down. There's no obvious any sort of traps in the hallway here, right?
There are no obvious any sort of traps in the hallway.
You making fun of me?
I'm telling you there are no obvious kind of sort of traps in the hallway.
He's gonna he's looking left and he looks right, and then he kind of leans back partially through the doorway, but not too far back because Shay's there. He's just like, "Hey, which way do we go?"
Turns to Kokoro.
Yeah, Kokoro would know that if you make a right turn and follow that path, there are stairs leading up into the glassworks themselves.
I will relate that.
Easemark's gonna start walking this way.
As soon as she is through the door, she's gonna do a sniff 'em. Because someone was here recently. Sola said so.
Yeah, so as you do a sniff 'em, could you roll me a survival check, Shadra's?
Ow.
Oh, this is you guys don't like the glassworks, do you?
The anxiety is setting in. Failure is around every corner.
Yep.
So there's no smell of char here, but a lot of the chemicals have their own scents, and as you try to take a breath, it just kind of gets caught in the back of your throat, and you end up coughing up a storm.
She I imagine that someone recently ransacked this place. There was probably a bit of sand and shit in the air along with the chemicals that she's fucking walked right fucking into that hasn't settled yet. And she just starts fucking sputtering and puts a hand to lean on the wall as she tries to clear her throat.
Sola reaches up and around the people in front of her and will hand a handkerchief.
She'll take it. She'll fucking take that shit.
Smells a little bit of mint right now, but it is better than what shit you're smelling.
Yep. She'll take that. She'll try to cough into it. She's like, thanks. Let's just points to Easemark as she's trying to get her fucking esophagus under control.
Let me.
Sola is going to look at John on her shoulder, look behind her, look at John again. You face back and make sure nothing comes back behind us.
She'll lay loose with you guys, so I'll just put her over here. John nods, as much as a bird can nod. All right, you want me to do a couple laps, boss? You want me to come back? Should I just hang out here?
She kind of Sola's probably like moved close enough. She's poking her head through into the storage room. Yeah, I think you can do a lap around this room before we go up.
Right. And you're having him do a lap around this upcoming room or the previous room?
The upcoming room, because the previous room is just straight caves.
Yep. So, John does a lap around the room. Comes back, lands on your shoulder. Wow, boss, I mean, I think I heard something, but I didn't see nobody.
You heard something?
Yeah, it sounded, I don't know, like some kind of whining or something.
Like something in pain?
Maybe more angry than pain.
So, like, look down the hallway that Shay and Ismark are wandering down. And it is not the direction that our friends are going.
Nah, it's the other way.
So we'll just nod. Look that direction. And tap Shalelu on the shoulder, because she is the closest.
Yes.
Would you mind coming with me for just a moment?
Certainly. Shall I lead?
If you are so inclined. Jean, will you show us where you heard this noise?
You got it, boss. Can I have one of the goblin treats after, though? I'm kind of curious.
There's like a slightly disgusted look, and then like a recognition of I'm not winning this fight. You might try one after all of this is done. If it manages to put you out, I need you.
All right. I gotta be business, John. I got it. And he flies out to start leading. And John leads you toward this door over here.
Where's my mouse? Here it is.
And
That
we
is-
see John flutter or out and around, right?
Yeah, you do. And you also would see Shalelu coming out.
Sola immediately after.
What are you doing?
What? Turns. Are we missing something? I thought Kokoro said this way.
Jean heard something. I am curious to what he heard.
Little bird told you?
In this instance, yes.
Just shrugs. Fucking, she's not gonna leave him. She just
Alright.
fucking, I don't know, nods in the direction of them to Ismark.
Guess we're gonna squeeze through.
Or we could wait. They can handle it.
All right. He posts up in the corner there.
She's gonna fucking lean on her shield. There's no fucking space, man. They're just gonna chill here.
They both get out their phones and start playing Candy Crush.
They pick up a piece of chalk and start playing tic-tac-toe on the wall.
Alright. Kokoro, Mez, which way are you going?
Oh my
I
god.
mean, Mez was kind of standing in between, like standing here kind of thing. Like, I'm not sure which way to go, but it's also very narrow. So she's just kind of like, I'll be on standby. Like, I'm just, I'd prefer my space. I don't like this cave. This cave sucks.
Kokoro is also like, no, I'll vibe here. I'll move when you guys move. Don't worry about me.
Yeah. Mez will help if she's called for, or if help is needed. So she's kind of nearby, but she's not going one way or the other. So
Okay.
And because so it is now canon, I like to speak it into existence. Shadras actually has chalk. I forgot. I had her buy chalk. So she just pulls out a piece and starts to game a hangman on the wall. While she's waiting, because they're still in eyesight. They're not far. It's just crowded as fuck over there. So she's just gonna wait.
Right. So this door is locked, but Shalelu looks it over a little bit, sighs deeply, and then just takes out a pair of thieves' tools and unlocks it. Takes her a little bit, though. And as she does, you can hear the whining John was talking about. It sounds angry, and every now and again, you'll hear a in addition to the whining. And as the door swings open, you realize why. Because inside this very cramped storage room, in one corner is a chair. And in that chair is a woman who's bloodied, beaten, and tied up with a wad of cloth jammed in her mouth. And that woman is a Mako Kaijitsu.
As soon as
Fucking excuse me.
Sola sees past Shalelu and sees the bloody and beaten up, she immediately straightens up, and you hear a very sharp "Ameko," and then kind of rushed Samsarin. She kind of brushes past and will go in, ungag Ameku, start untying her, and also healing her.
The millisecond that Sola heard Hanako, she bolted forward.
Amiko.
I don't know if you guys can see her on the map because I suspect that the
Yes.
map.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
thank you all for playing along.
Dude, the temptation just be like, you know what, we should go left instead, was strong.
No, it was so funny because I was looking at it. I was like, is that on the wrong layer? Did the people who made this map do me this dirty? And lo and behold, they had. But you all played along so well, so I appreciate you.
Pat on the back.
Thank you. All right.
What is that?
The healing
8
is
wound.
dearly needed. Ameko is in a state. Her cheek is swollen and bruised, and it looks like her split too. And as she sees Sola and Shalelu enter, especially when she sees Kokoro, she just looks dejected. You've never seen Ameko look so dejected. Not even when her father was yelling at her. She spits some blood out onto the stone floor, and she is kind of refusing to look at anyone as she's trying to gather her thoughts and figure out exactly what it is she wants to say.
Kokoro quickly rushes forward and kneels down to look at her, resting her hand on her hand. Amine, what happened?
Ameko can't meet your eyes, Kokoro. And as you kneel down in front of her, she leans back, and you can see that her nose is bloody too. This must not be a pleasant thing for her, tilting her head back like that. She's going to choke on the blood eventually.
As soon
And
as she
perhaps-
does that, Sola's hand goes to the back of her head, straightens it up.
Sola straightens her out, and she looks back at Kokoro, and she sighs. I think you need to get upstairs.
Who did this to you?
If you don't go upstairs and you don't take care of it right now, it might be a lot worse than it is right now.
You can see just the hesitation before she just quickly runs out the door.
As Kokoro runs out the door, Ameko looks to Shalelu and to Sola, and she takes a breath. I think he's gonna do something really stupid.
Is anybody else hurt at the moment that you know of?
I think they're gonna be.
Kokoro busts out, like, running up the stairs. Ismark sees that, looks at Shalelu, and is like, whoa, 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 okay. Shit. Shit. He's gonna step by and he's like, are you coming? This is all going to hell. And he looks at Mez and then nods his head towards the group who is hoofing it to the stairs.
Shalelu looks to Sola, sort of nods in understanding that this situation will be solid, and then turns to head away. But as she does, Ameko calls out to her, "Be careful. I think he's got goblins up there."
Hmm.
Shalelu, for her part, quietly nods. "No, they won't stand a chance against us. We'll take care of this, whatever it is. You focus on getting better."
On a scale from 1 to 10, how bad does Amiko look?
She's pretty fucked up, dude.
But she's also in the hands of a healer currently.
Is Sola gonna stay here then?
I want Sola to go up because I know there's a fight.
Mez will look at Barney and kind of basically tell him to stay with Amiko.
Barney, whom I will have to make a token for,
Mhm.
will lope over into the room, and he just quietly sits next to Ameko.
If we need you, if we need you, the sound, the signal. Kind of holds out like a whistle at her on her kind of thing.
Are you saying that to Barney or to Ameko?
Barney.
Okay. Barney barks.
Sola has done her once a day magic healing on Ameko. Does she look stable?
She looks stable. Fucked up, but stable.
So we'll just kind of like take a moment and just check her over again and kind of dab at some of the blood. Will you be alright for a few moments by yourself? Or with Barney?
As you dab at some of her wounds, Ameko tries to hide her wincing, but it's still there. I've had worse. They're Sola, I think they're
lie
gonna.
to me.
So this is pretty bad. Sola, I think they're gonna need you up there. It's bad.
And Sola nods slightly. We're going to close the door most of the way. Don't make any noise or draw any attention. We'll be back shortly.
Please, don't kill him, okay?
Furrowed brow. No comment. As she will briskly move after the rest of them.
Okay. I need a final marching order for everybody. and I need right over here will be the front. If you look down and slightly to the left, this is the front.
This year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm assuming Shay and Kokoro are first.
Yes, that's what I'm also assuming.
Mm-hmm.
It sounded like Ismark, Shalelu, Mez, Sola.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Just for shoving everyone in there, I'll get a little Ismark.
Everyone's getting kind of
Crammed in.
cozy.
It was getting kind of cozy.
If you press and hold Alt while you move your token, and then let go of your token, you can move it off the grid.
Yeah.
So,
does Kokoro plan on like just running out?
She sure as fuck is.
She's being hysterical.
She is. All right. Well,
You gotta restrain the hysterical woman.
I wouldn't
Oh,
say
no.
restrain her.
I am kidding.
However, that
is
seems a
joke.
little cringe. But as they round up the corner, Shay is going to want to fucking pull Kokoro back. Before she fucking runs through the door. Sorry, I completely fucking lost the voice. Yeah. Might want to wait a second.
We don't have time for that. We gotta go.
Kokoro, wait a second. At least let me go first.
Oh, okay. Go.
Starts to get
She's
shoved.
She's going to fucking try and shove her. She's gonna wait. She's going to listen. See, and once she hears the footsteps of them coming up the stairs, and she can see the head of Ismark and have footsteps of Shalelu coming up, is like, okay. She's going to peek her head out the door. And she just wants to wait for the group to catch up so that they aren't completely separated, because that seems like a bad idea.
So as you poke your head out, Shay, something strikes you immediately, like just a fish to the face. And that's the scent of goblins. You don't even have to roll for it. This place is thick with the stench of them. And this room is another storage room. This looks like the holding chamber where, put stuff that's about to go downstairs, stuff that's coming upstairs. It's just here while it gets sorted. There's manganese in these barrels, there's copper, there's tin, there's all manner of things. But most distressing to you are the empty goblin beds just kind of strewn about.
Oh!
Make me a perception check.
That's something. Okay. They're just here, huh?
Yeah, just goblin beds.
They just live here.
All right. The 16, you can hear the giggling, the laughter, the celebration of goblins stamping their feet. But more concerning than that, you hear a howl of agonized misery. Just a sound that you didn't even know a human could make. It chills you to the core. And as a matter of fact, everybody else can hear the scream too. And Kokoro, that sounds a lot like Lon.
No more waiting. They can catch up.
Agreed.
Nod. They're finally seeing eye to eye here. Which direction was that coming from? There's multiple doors. Is it the big one? The big one?
Yes, this direction.
Okay. Cool. She's Kokoro keeps insisting on going first. Jaya is just I imagine she just constantly has to pull her back, like, I have the shield.
I'm trying to do like side by side, but there's no like direct side by side.
Jesus fucking Christ. There's no side by side.
It's I'm gonna tell you right now, again, positioning is very important right now.
Fucking get the fuck behind her. She will be physically moved.
You know what can help with this? Akira,
What?
turning the grid off so that we can accurately. So you go up to the top where you can select your maps and right click on this one. And then in the settings, if you scroll down, you should be able to see like grid on and off.
Ah, yes. There we go. How's that?
Ah, freedom.
Thank you, Z. Appreciate it.
No problem.
All right.
Yay. Okay.
So, marching order, once again, is anybody following right after?
That
They
would
didn't-
be Easmac trying to get in there as
Actually,
fast
Lulu
as
would
he
also
possibly
follow
can.
as quickly as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Shay,
Most will
not
be
you, the
out
other
here.
one. The one with the Lou.
All right. And Sola, are you staying down there?
Sola is coming, but Sola is back of the pack very distinctly.
All right.
Because just to be as realistic and honest as possible, because she took her time with the Mako.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Mm.
Well. So, what you find here, as you open the door, are firstly an awful lot of goblins. Let me move them to the proper layer.
I'm getting more and more concerned the more I hear you click. Because I'm like, okay, that's 1, 2,
there's a lot
3,
of
4.
There's a lot of goblins. I'm not done yet.
Well,
So, you see this array of goblins up ahead of you, and worse than that, you see what happens when goblins get bored, which is they tend to toy with bodies. There's about 8 members of the staff here, and they're all dead, but more so than that, the goblins have started to toy with them, winging entrails at each other, just tossing arms into. There's an awful lot of furnaces around here, so you might imagine it works. The air is thick with the smell of death and with a mulchy scent. Oh, wait, all good?
1 sec. Sorry.
Yeah.
Gross.
yuck.
Dude, this campaign only gets yuck-er.
Yeah, this is entry level yuck. You haven't even seen the yuckiest thing.
Gross.
Gross.
Mop it up.
Mop it up.
I was hoping to trigger that.
I feel like that's just a constant trigger. Either me or
Cannot-
Joe is going to say that. We can't not say it.
It's true. We're permanently broken and must say it.
Yeah, gross or yuck. Followed by mop it up.
I'll wait another little bit for Iris before continuing.
No point. I'm gonna go run and grab something real quick.
I'm returned. Sorry.
Nice.
Now we're missing
Welcome
me.
I'm also back.
Hey.
Okay, cool. Everyone's here. Delightful.
Sorry about that.
No worries. All good?
Mhm.
Okay. So, the goblins are playing with people's bodies here, but they're also playing with just throwing things in there to see if it explodes or not. And often it does explode. However, they also seem to be taking molten glass from the furnaces and pouring them over the bodies to try and encase them in glass. And as you look further down, you start to realize the reason why they're. That's because spot Suto here, standing next to what appears to be a seat of some sort. And on that seat is Longiku Kaijitsu, or what's left of him, because he's been coated in molten glass while still alive.
Mm.
Yep.
Uh,
Good. Great.
One
I hate this.
is being coated in molten glass, still alive. Just for the notes, you know. I feel like that's real fucked up. It needs to be noted.
Uh,
But Shay
Has-
will save her "I told you so" for later. Sorry, go ahead. Finish your description.
And it has to fucking stick.
Yep.
Oh, yes. It stinks terribly in here. As a matter of fact, Shay, make me a fort save.
Oh no.
Your big sniffums is turning into a big fucking liability right now.
I know, right? 10?
Oh,
good.
that's not great, dude.
It's
That's
average.
no good.
That's not
It's
great.
average. I mean, to be
Considering the
fair,
smell, you think
I'd
this
like
is an
to.
average smell?
I'd like to argue Shalelu is paranoid as fuck and hates goblins. I feel like she put Shay through fucking goblin smell and causation boot camp.
To be fair, this isn't just goblin smell. This is
It's not,
molten
but
human smell.
Goblins are fucked up.
Oh man.
Shalelu knows how fucked up they are.
Let's see. Okay. So your stomach starts to turn, Shadras. To turn in a terrible, terrible fashion, because even though you've been put through the goblin ringer with Shalelu, she's forced you to smell the innards of goblin dogs more than once. This is a person, and it's awful. Just the sight as well is also sickening. As a result, you have the sickened condition now,
Oh no.
which means you take a -2 on just about everything.
Yikes! That's so not good.
Just be glad you're not nauseated.
Yeah, nauseated is like fucked up bad.
As you open the door, the goblins do note your approach, and they turn toward you. And this one over here, in fact, shouts to the others. I gotta get my goblin voice back on. Hey guys! We got some friends! And with this, the rest of the goblins are alerted, and more than that, Suto is, as he turns down toward the door. You can see the shock on his face, and he's trying to figure out who could possibly be there until his eyes land on Kokoro. And there is pure despair on this man's face. If you like, you can get in a quick reaction, but I think we should cut it here because this is a very long combat.
Say cool one-liner.
Pepper.
Piper?
Piper!
Sorry, give me 1 minute. Okay, so You said Suto saw me?
Yes. He saw you and, like, his face just falls. And he appears to be in complete despair.
Suni, what are you doing?
And all he can think to say over the roar of the goblins and the furnaces, you weren't supposed to see this.
I'm gonna, like, take some steps forward.
I will stop you there, friend, because if you do that, you're going to trigger initiative. So we can handle that next time. Okay?
Don't step on that initiative trigger.
Don't step on the initiative trigger.
Don't step it. We'll have to stay up for another 4 hours and do the entire combat.
This is like a 2-hour combat.
Even if I'm not showing hostility, they're gonna attack me. I thought the goblins would be with him.
The goblins are with him, but they are goblins.
They are, at best, barely controllable.
I feel like they're suggestible.
Yeah. And these are goblins who are riled the fuck up on flesh violence and, like, hot glass.
Who knows
They've
what kind of
just
fumes
been-
they've been on?
Yeah.
These are like worse than Fortnite kids who just snorted a bunch of rock candy.
Yeah, these goblins are all hot